Hello, everybody. Okay, so I just finished my info camp and I wanted to talk about something that I don't usually hear too much about so I wanted to kind of give my own perspective. I just finished and I don't know if y'all know this, but I stay in San Antonio, so I have a lot of parents who are English and I have parents who are also Spanish. Unfortunately for Miss A, I can only speak English, and I'm barely doing that. All right, don't ask me to read. Y'all already know. Anyway, so I bring this up because when I was figuring out in the beginning what it was that I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to be a social worker. I just didn't know what. I didn't know what capacity. I also knew that I liked kids. So I just figured that I'd probably work in some sort of school system just because those two things, they felt to be my passion, right? But when I moved to San Antonio, and of course my social work degree was, of course, social work, but it was social work for that dealt with Hispanic children and families, right? That was that specific title. And the first time that I went into college with that degree, and when I was thinking about it, I was very nervous. For the most part is because I was trying to understand how I would be able to communicate what it is that I do, or the way that I feel, or how I could help somebody who speaks a different language than me, right? And of course, I mean, the main thing could be to learn somebody else's, a different language. And again, I want to emphasize very much how hard it is for Miss A to remember words just in general, okay? And I ramble on a lot. Y'all know this about me by now, and if you don't, hello. I do. And I say all that to say that it was quite hard for me to try to learn different languages when I did give it some effort. But I was just very nervous because I knew that this was the field I wanted to be in. I knew I wanted to live here in San Antonio, and I knew that meant there was going to be families who did not understand me because of our language barrier. And that kind of happened today when I was doing my info session, right? Because I had a family who was kind of sitting in the back from me, and you could just kind of tell that they didn't fully understand everything that I was saying. Funny enough, they were the very first family to come to the session, so I was very excited, right? And I was talking to them, and they were kind of like looking at each other, and you can see them like mumbling to each other, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's a language, a barrier issue. So I made them feel very welcomed, right? Sat them down, and I think the father figure could speak some English, so he was kind of translating to the rest of the family. And so I kind of was leaning heavily on him, or not heavily, but I was leaning on him to try to understand, for us to kind of communicate. And while we were playing our games, right, because I was telling them about our program, and then when more family members came, we started playing our bingo game, right? And instead of doing just regular bingo, if you heard what I was saying before, I ended up kind of doing charades, but I could talk, I guess, and I was trying to get them to guess what it was that I pulled out so that they can, cross it off. And there were times where I knew that the little girl that was in that family knew the answer. And so it was very easy for me to invite her into the conversation. And I already know that I can never understand what it feels like to be a person surrounded by so many other people who speak a different language. And it doesn't have to be that scenario, right? It can be people who look different than you, people with a different background than you have, right? Whatever the situation, having that weigh on you can make you feel kind of small sometimes, right? And the last thing that I wanted to do was make that family feel this way. So I was so interactive with them, guys, to the point I bet you they were like, all right, other people here at the table, but when everybody else was raising their hand to try to guess the question, I was looking directly at them, and I was like, you can do it. Just point to it. Point to what it is that you think it is. And sometimes they got it right and sometimes they got it wrong, but when they got it right, we all celebrated, the whole room did. And when they got it wrong, I was like, okay, well, let's ask a neighbor to see if they know. And the point of that was, it's so sad for me because after the program was over, and I was giving out my packets to say, hey, look, your student is eligible to be a part of my program if she wants to be. And we used the Google Translate. And the father was basically like, hey, I want to be a part of this program, or I want my daughter to be a part of this program, but I don't think we're going to because of the language barrier, right? Because he said that she doesn't speak very good English, right? And I did the text back on there, and I was like, hey, I want you to know that that's okay. I don't want you, your family, your daughter to have to feel like they can't be a part of something, of this community that we're building together, because of a barrier, right? Now, it may be difficult, it may be hard, but guess what? I'm not the only person in here. They got a whole bunch of other people in here, and guess what? They speak English and they speak Spanish. They got some students who speak English and Spanish, and a lot of them are going to be in my group. So guess what? We're all going to be working together. Google is our friend, okay? And I made sure to let them know that they don't have to be a part of it if they don't want to, but I don't want the barrier of language to be the reason why, right? And the guy was like, oh, okay. And then, he left, and I was getting ready to finish cleaning, and he came back, and he was like, or of course he was texting, and he said, if my daughter wants to be a part of it now, but then wants to leave, later, can she do that? And I was like, well, 100%. Well, what we do in our program is once you're enrolled, I just have to see you one time a month, right? So it won't be that difficult. However, I see my students more than one time a month. I see them every day. Well, not in the program, but just in general, I'll be seeing them all the time. But two, I have never in this 1 year of working, did I have a student say that they don't want to be a part of the program. Because I'm just fly like that. Everybody want to be around me. You can ask anybody around here. They gonna say, oh, that's Miss A. I want to be in her class. Now, am I bragging? Yes, because I can. Because I'm doing well right now. I am building pillars in this community, and I'm so proud of that, right? And again, I'm going off topic. The main point of this story is, it's sad that there are so many people that feel like they can't do something, or they can't be a part of something because of a barrier or a challenge that they have, right? And again, it doesn't have to be language, but in this case it was. And that's something that I wish to change just in general about the world, right? The little small things that I can fix, I would love to say, hey, look, you're right. We may not be able to understand each other all the time, but we don't have to understand each other to feel that this is a safe space for all of us. You can come in here, you can ask me any question that you need to. Your kid can feel free to come in and play with my fidget spinners and ask me questions and write things on the board and feel joyous and just be calm in this place, in this space, and know that it doesn't matter if we speak the same language or not. She cares for us, because I do. I care so much, right? Okay, I'm gonna start crying. And I don't want to do that. So I just want everybody to know that here is a safe space. And I don't just mean that in my school, right, setting. This platform is meant for everybody to come and know that, hey, look, I may have a disability. I may have a challenge or a disadvantage or a barrier. But here, you can come to me and know that it doesn't matter, because here you are a star, and all stars are welcomed, cherished, and loved here with Miss A. It was long, but it was needed to be said. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, my stars.